New York energy. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
This is the Ozone, season 2, we taking flight. New York on lock, every borough ignite. Giants, Jets, Knicks, Yanks, Mets, we the hype. Malik Sauce, Jalen Judge, Lindo, NY Life. MetLife thunder when malignant bars break the rail. Giants running routes, ops fall, we prevail. Sauce Gardner locked down, jet fuel in his stance. MetLife heat beam, Jets defenders advance. MSG vibrate when Jalen Brunson start to cook. Knicks light the garden, ops shook when he looked. Pinstripes roll, Aaron Judge send rockets over Bronx. Bombs drop, Yankees prime, real talk, no cons. City feel glow, Lindo make that leather sing. Met bats knock, Queens dreams gon' always ring. From the bridges to the streets, uptown blackout. Season 2, Ozone, NY Heat, no doubt. This is the Ozone. Season 2. New York, forever drills. Catch the vibe.
You have entered the Ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go, baby. You guys are here. You guys officially entered the Ozone. It's your boy Omar here in a new week. But we must talk about the Thanksgiving week because I hope everyone was filled. Hope everyone got to spend time with their loved ones, eat a lot of food. But what we want to do here first, before we start this jam-packed episode, is I want to thank you guys, the fans, our friends, our peoples that showed love. Our last wrestling episode did one of our highest views, I would say, in about 6 months. Definitely one of our top view videos in a long time. And that is because of you guys. You guys have shared it. Our subscribers went up. Our TikTok followers went up. Our Instagram and Twitter followers have gone up. And that's all because you guys have been spreading the word. So we thank you and we love you guys. And we appreciate that you guys continue doing that. But we got a jam-packed show. We got everything filled up. We are talking about the Knicks, how they are bound, baby, for the NBA Emirates Cup tournament as they got an important matchup with Toronto next week. We're talking about the Giants, how I'm just going to hint it here. This is going to be an interesting Giants segment because, one, I'm pissed off, and secondly, the Giants did something that I thought could never happen. We're going to get into that. The Jets are probably the most confused franchise. They have no idea whether they want to win or they want to lose. And we're going to discuss the most hyped, maybe overperformed or underperformed WWE PLE this year. But I can't get into all of this. Wait a minute. And then the Mets still another Yankees player? I'm getting ahead of myself. Super producer Dave, brother, it's a new week. The best co-host in the business. How are we feeling?
Brother, the Knicks went 4-0. Hold on.
Don't.
The Knicks went 4-0 last week.
Oh, you're a good man.
And then I gotta give thanks to my boy, Drake May. Brother.
Drake May.
There we go. Brother.
Drake May.
Brady retires, and who would have figured that in 5 years we would get our franchise quarterback? Who would have thought?
Okay, I thought you was gonna say the next time Brady.
No. I'm not jumping to that. I'm not that person. I'm not that fan. I'm just happy that we have a quarterback who can play because I know other teams don't get that luxury, brother. But we have the Knicks to talk about. We have things to give there.
Yeah, let's talk about it, brother. It's This Week in Knicks.
This Week in Knicks.
All right, y'all, this is This Week in Knicks. This is where we cover our New York Knickerbockers. And, brother, this week is going to be a whole lot different than last week. Shout-outs to you with the amazing short that you did on what we talked about last week about Anthony Davis. It definitely stirred up a lot of conversation in Knicks Twitter and TikTok and all that. But we got good things to talk about. Obviously, the Knicks had a perfect week from last week, from when we recorded, when they beat the Brooklyn Nets, they beat Charlotte, they beat Milwaukee, and they beat Toronto Raptors. So right now, the Knicks are currently in a 4-game winning streak. And, brother, with those 2 wins against Charlotte and Milwaukee, the Knicks have punched a ticket to the quarterfinals of the NBA Emirates Cup. So now that links them up with Toronto for December 9th. Obviously, the winner of that is going to the semifinals against Vegas. So off the rip, brother, how we feeling about that? Do we want to win the Emirates Cup this year? Do we want to win it?
Honestly, brother, I wouldn't say that I'm excited for the Emirates Cup, but I am excited
Ooh,
for one thing,
thought
and I am
I thought
excited
it'd
for
be
one thing.
different. Go
I
ahead.
know, but I am excited for one thing: the wins that are coming along
Yeah.
with this, because it still counts to your overall season record, and that's what matters to me more. That and seeing that, like I just mentioned, and leading into with the monologue, brother, 4-0 for the week. Like, this is the same team that 2 weeks ago we were talking about people ready to get shipped out, everybody out. Josh Hart was ready to get shipped out. People were ready to get rid of OG. Let's see what we can get for Giannis or Anthony Davis. So
Hmm. Hmm.
this is to talk and just say, like, Knicks fans are very fickle, and just give it a chance. Let's see what happens. Lineup adjustments happen, injuries happen, things will come along with the season. We may lose 4 games in a row at some point, but regarding the Emirates Cup, I'm not so excited about it, but I am happy with the wins that are coming along with that run there.
Look, obviously the Knicks right now make it to the quarterfinals. They've already locked down 51,000 per player. And if they advance, they win 106,000. If they make the finals, the runner-up gets 212. The winners get $530,933. That's a lot of bread.
Those are happy players.
I
That's over a
yeah, I
million
get what you're
after.
saying. I think obviously year one, people kind of didn't want this kind of trophy. But you see now with the winners, I think LA, Milwaukee, those teams, they kind of, embraced it. I think as the seasons progress, this will be taken a lot more serious. But I don't mind it. I know it's gonna come with an extra game, and that championship game is not, um, it's not on the record. So I know there's some Knicks fans that are like, bro, we don't need to play any extra games than what we want. But you can tell, especially in these tournament games, the Knicks are really up for it. You know what I'm saying? So they've been playing well. And you mentioned Josh Hart, because Josh Hart, what we did talk about last week was, right, how all these Knicks fans are willing to give up these guys, willing to give up the bond for everybody. You know what I mean? Anthony Davis, and funny enough, Anthony Davis re-aggravated a wrist the other day playing against Denver. He did finish the game, but it's like, bro, do you guys continue to want that? But I want to highlight Josh Hart because, brother, we've been talking about this. Adjustments. Give it time for Mike Brown to see what pieces, to see what he wants, to see, you know what I mean? Like, he's going to build in a certain trust. Let him figure that out. And in the last 5 games, obviously, when Shaman goes down to Orlando, he makes an interesting tweak to the lineup, brother. He sits down Mitch. Obviously, OG's hurt. So, Shamit was coming in for OG. He's starting, but Shamit goes down. Then he makes an interesting switch. He takes out Mitchell Robinson, in place for Josh Hart, and puts Deuce McBride in. And, brother, since then, Josh Hart is averaging 16 points, 10 rebounds a game, 6 assists. Deuce is is averaging 14.4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. And this is the crazy part. You look at the 3-point shooting. Deuce is shooting 51% from the field in that stretch. Josh Hart is shooting 40% from 3 in that stretch, shooting 50%, over 50% on the field. Josh Hart's playing with confidence. This lineup is really starting to click. And it's making the offense look good, brother. I can't lie.
And brother, at the end of the day, like there was one team that was above 500 that we beat in that 4-game win streak, right? And that was, if I'm not mistaken, the Toronto Raptors. But
Right.
at the end of the day, you play your schedule, right? And what we don't want to see is them lose against the teams that they should be beating. So we should be beating a Charlotte. We should be beating Brooklyn. We should be beating the Bucks at the state that they're at currently, even though they have a Giannis. And that's what I care about more. This is the things that I want to see as you get rolling, as the team starts to learn each other, the adjustments, as they're saying, the lineup, and seeing how these guys are getting in a groove. And then we get OG go back, and whenever he does come back, these are the things that you just want to see from the Knicks. And this is what makes me happy as a Knicks fan, because patience, what we've been preaching since the very beginning of this season, there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be a lot of that comes with this season, because
Yeah.
everything's under a microscope. But winning these games, they do matter, because guess what? If we lost these games going into the end of the season, well, then they're going to be like, well, how did you lose
Trade
to Brooklyn
everybody.
at the
Trade
beginning?
Jalen
How did you
Brunson.
lose
Maybe
to?
trade everybody.
Right.
No, and
For
look,
Jalen Duran.
exactly. And this is exactly how, but this is how you build momentum and you build that morale. You know what I mean? Obviously, I looked at a stat. I should have looked it up before we recorded. The Knicks haven't played much close games, and because they're dominating in their wins. You know what I mean? And this team, and mind you, we're not even seeing the best of Cat. And I think this team has a whole nother notch, a whole nother level that they can go on to. Mitchell Robinson even tweeted that out. That he's like, yo, he's not even at his best capabilities right now. He hasn't even maximized what he's able to do so far. But I do wanna highlight this, brother. OG Anunoby is starting to play 3-on-3, starting to get 3-on-3 contact. And I think, sometimes injuries figures it out anyway. But OG comes back. I think this is a big question of what does Mike Brown do? Does Mike Brown sit Josh Hart? Does he sit Deuce McBride? Obviously, we already know Cap, McHale, Brunson, they're in the lineup. OG's not gonna come off the bench. You're gonna get some crazy damn Knicks fans that's gonna come up with like, hey, maybe OG should come in and no, OG should start. Now the question I pose to you, brother, is gonna be, who are you gonna bench? Are you gonna bench Josh Hart? Or are you gonna bench Deuce McBride?
In this scenario, I'm gonna bench Josh Hart, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a guy that you want coming off the field. I want Miles to get more play time. I want him to get more acclimated. I want him to see like that starting role and what he can be, his potential. But honestly, I understand the craze that the Knicks fans would have if we were to bench OG and have him come off the bench. But
Bro.
coming off the injury, I would love that. Come off the injury, come slowly acclimated. I'm when players are coming off an injury, unless it's been like months and this guy has just been like, you know what, it's finally ready. That's not the case. The guy was just injured a few weeks ago. Give him some time to get acclimated back to this team. Don't put him straight into the lineup right away. I get it, they practice. I get it that there's scrimmages and all that stuff that they do on their own time. But still, get him acclimated slowly into this team and to see what's working. See, all right, you know what? This is what it looks like when Miles is on the court with us. This is what it looks like when Josh is now starting with us. Just so he can see, because it's a new offense under a new coach. That's how I would approach it. But if you're asking me back to your question, I'm going with Josh Hart on the bench.
Uh I'm gonna disagree with you on how you do that with OG, because I think basketball is a little different. You got guys that you could just put on a minute restriction.
Mhm.
Um, so I wouldn't want OG coming off the bench at all. I would just, if anything, limit his minutes. And this is why I think when it comes to OG is let him rest. The Knicks are playing well without him. There is no need to rush. I want him back when he can play. Like, I don't want to even want him back where it's like minute restriction this or whatever. No, come back when you are ready. This is why I don't mind the Knicks stretching this as much as they can. I agree with
Right.
you though on the.
I don't
I
want to
agree
hear
with
that
you.
he's 90%. I don't want to hear he's
Yeah,
90%.
yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
want
want. I don't
85.
want that. Like, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want. Okay, we're gonna bring him back, but he's gonna play 10. Because I think if anything, that messes up the flow. Because, and I think this is why this lineup worked, because you had Mitch starting, and Mitch is still on a minute restrictions. Mitch is playing, 5 minute spurts, 4 minutes, whatever. He's playing like 18 minutes a game, so everybody's not in rhythm. I will agree with you on this. I would want Deuce to start only because I love Josh Hart. I love that he's playing with confidence. However, do I think that Josh Hart is going to continue to shoot 50% from the field, a little over 40% from three throughout the season? No. I do think there's going to be a period where Josh is gonna regress back, but I think Deuce can stay consistently shooting above 4. He's shooting obviously over 50 within the stretch, but I know I'm a lot more confident that Deuce can shoot over 40% from 3 throughout the season. And like you said, brother, it's a different energy that Josh Hart brings from the bench. I think so I'm totally fine um with that lineup, and I'm cool with that. And you don't lose much defensively. Obviously, Josh Hart's a little bigger than Deuce McBride, but defensively, you don't get much of a step back because Deuce is one of our best perimeter ball players. But brother, before we wrap up this segment, let's just pop up the graphic on the Knicks schedule for the week. As of this recording, guys, because we're airing on a Thursday, we are filming Tuesday. So right now the Knicks are in the middle of their game against the Celtics, and currently right now they're up 6. Wednesday they have 3 games to finish the week with a game against the Hornets at 7:30. Which, if you guys are watching this game has already probably happened. Hopefully that's the Knicks win. And then Friday against Utah, and then Sunday against the dreaded Orlando Magic. This team has been a thorn on our side, but brother, I honestly think this can continue the winning streak. I'm going to be Omar Nostradamus, and we're going to beat the Celtics and the Hornets, and I think that we will beat Utah. Orlando one's going to be tough, but I think that game, it's a matinee, but the Knicks need to get it together. Orlando punched us in the mouth twice this season. They should get this win. I'm predicting a perfect week for the Knicks.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that, and especially against Orlando, they're going to be playing at home. So,
Yeah.
you get the crowd's going to be into it. They love those 12 o'clock games. And I think it's going to be a good standing for the week. I'm not arguing you're 4-0.
And the one thing I am happy is that Sunday, 12 o'clock, I believe it's the same. Oh, no, the Giants are on a bye. God,
Yep.
thank you. We'll get it, and that's a great pivot because I was going to say at least it keeps, fans from not having to watch football because football has been a nightmare. So let's get into it. We got to talk about the Giants as we got schlamacked on national television by this team from Boston that they so happily play football, and they play football pretty well. So let's get into it. This is the Big Blue Breakdown.
All hail the New York Giants!
All right, y'all, this is the Big Blue Breakdown. This is where we talk about the pitiful New York Football Giants. I said on our monologue, this is going to be an interesting segment because I don't know if Dave and I will have the same opinion on something that we're going to talk about that happened in this game. But I will say this. I said that the Giants, they have done something that I don't think we've quite seen before. And I kind of hinted towards it last week, brother. When we broke down the worst NFL record since 2017. And the Giants were a game ahead over the Jets. We are officially the worst football franchise right now in New York.
Since what's the date?
Since yesterday. Since Monday. This was a horrible performance. On national television, you got the kicker tripping, and he wants to say he did it on purpose because the punter tilted the ball. I don't want to hear that crap. You have this rookie. You're down 20, 4th and inches. You're already 2-10, and the interim head coach elects to take the penalty so he can punt it. You have Devin Singletary scores a touchdown to make it like 30-14 or 30-13, and I always dropped that bomb. The guy's dancing. That's just Chris Paul hit a 3, cut the lead to 33. Then you have Abdul Carter, where you would have thought he learned his lesson 2 weeks ago when he got, they sat him down to drive. Well, whatever, sleeping or whatever. Then he now sits 2 drives because, if he didn't learn his lesson with 1, give him 2. Why don't you just sit him down the whole damn game so he can learn his lesson? You have this mess, and the Giants lost. You have the Patriots. Oh, you cannot sit there and tell me. I don't know who the hell your defensive coordinator is. Is he back? Because I saw he has cancer.
Whoa.
Does he?
Or
is it offense? Somebody has cancer that they
let me
that
confirm
Vrabel
that
brought
for you.
in. So I don't know if I don't want to blame him because he has cancer. I don't want to blame him. I want to find out who it is. But I want to continue while you look that up.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot sit there and tell me that on a scouting report heading into this game that the Patriots were not told. When you get a chance to hit Dart, you make it effing count. Because these guys, you would have thought it was Bounty Gate in New England. I've seen a few of y'all games. Y'all didn't even try to hit Allen that hard. The way y'all was coming at Dart. Now I will say this, because we got to talk about the big hit. Clean. No argument from me. He wasn't running. Although he was on the sideline, he was not motioning like he was going to run out of bounds. It's a clean hit. Now I will protect that Theo Johnson did the right thing. I don't care if it's legal or illegal. I'm going to fight for my quarterback. And you could tell, yeah, this is where I said the motive was to hit Dart hard. Because he could have pushed him out of bounds. The guy was centimeters from, oh no, but he shellacked him. Because of the whole, kids got concussions and all that. You can't, but also, my argument too is, that's Pat Mahomes. That's a personal foul penalty. If it's Pat Mahomes. Go ahead, brother.
Brother, where do I begin? Number one, Patriots are the number one team in the NFL, which is amazing. You know me. I said it since the very beginning. I had low expectations of the team. I just wanted them to win more than the games that they won last year. They have exceeded those expectations by a lot. Let's go to the topic at hand. Was the clean? Absolutely. The hit was clean. Was Dart being cute by dancing on the sideline? Absolutely, because you didn't motion and you clearly have a history of already concussions in this season alone.
Being cute or trying to get more yards?
Being cute. But Theo Johnson did the right thing. And I get it, Omar. You are a fan. And I've seen you. I've seen how you get when you want to get that quarterback that you don't like. I've watched games with you. We've known each other for over 15 years, right? Or even more. At this point, it's 20. It's over 20 years that we've known each other. I've watched many games with you. I know how you get when you don't like a quarterback and how you want them to get hit. And if that was one of our guys, if that was one of the Cowboys, if it was an Eagles player, man, you'd love that hit. You'd be celebrating it from here to the top of Kingdom Come. Brother, it was a great hit. And yes, if it was another quarterback, if it was a Patrick Mahomes, if it was a Jalen Hurts, if it was one of those top guys, refs definitely call that. And we already have called it. Refs will call those favorable calls to certain players. Fortunately, Dart's a rookie. He's not going to get that call. He probably won't get that for a few more years until he shows that he's one of the top elite guys to the refs' eyes or the NFL to protect their guy. But I just think that, you know what, the right play was made. Yes, he could have shoved him, but then also you can also impact the game of how maybe Dart wants to approach it. I'm not saying that he's going to be scared and going to see ghosts like some people have seen in the past, but you affect the confidence that a player has in, like, do I take off and, oh, this guy's coming. I curse. I'll bleep that out.
Yeah, you mentioned something, because that's what I was going to talk about. Was about how Dart approached the game, because I thought he approached the game very different. And I'm not hating it because he's had these concussions. You could tell Giant fans that know, and obviously, you know, you're watching your boy, so you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. There were a lot of moments when you can tell Dart wanted to run. And he was thinking, no, this is not what they want me to do. This is not what they want me to do. Actually, there was one point where he was kind of midway trying to go for a slide, but he didn't know what to do. And I thought that was an overreaction from people too. I thought that, you know, the defender, I'm not quite sure who it was that he hit Dart. I don't think he did it, you know, maliciously, because I think Dart was confused because any other time Dart would go and fight for those 2 additional yards. And I think that was the issue with him on the sideline. Like, oh, wait a minute, do I go out? Do I try to fight for those yards? This is why I disagree with you on trying to be pretty. I think he's caught in between of this is his style of play, but this is also what we're trying to keep you away, because your style of play has been keeping you out of the games. And I thought he struggled with that, and that's something that he's going to have to learn. Look, obviously you saw the difference. There's a reason why one team is 10-2, the other team was 2-10.
11-2.
There's a big difference. Go ahead.
11.
You guys are 10-2 now.
11.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, going into the game, 2-10 versus 10-2.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
That, you know, that's the reason why. You know what I mean? And Yeah, look, New England was a better team. They were the better team in every. I would just say this, Giant fans, we should look at a team like New England, and they're a product of. They had a good young core. They had some good pieces, and you brought in a coach. Although you wasn't a fan of how they did your old coach, but it's not like you were against Vrabel coming in. That'll tell you, you bring one coach that can bring some respect and accountability. You never know. So, any final words, brother? I'm gonna give you the floor. It's your team. Go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to one of the best corners in the game right now, and he's not praised enough as he should. Marcus Jones. He got paid. He got paid like he should. He got paid as one of the top corners, but Marcus Jones is one of the. He's a stud. He does it on special teams. He does it on defense, and he's somebody that I want people to like pay attention to him if you want to see him going into playoffs. Just like keep an eye. There's certain cornerbacks that Omar can tell you. There are cornerbacks that I will call out and I hate them for the rest of their life as a career or whatever. Marcus Jones is not one of those guys. He's one of those guys that I love to see on the field, and just keep your eyes on him.
Well, what we will keep our eyes on are the New York Jets because they continuing. I don't even know what they're continuing to do. They're just continuing to do things. I don't know. I'm gonna pose a question to you. That this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk more about the question of what's more important for a young franchise. Is it tanking or is it building a foundation? Because that's where I feel like the Jets are caught in between. So let's talk about it. This is the Gangrene Report. All right, y'all. This is the Gangrene Report. This is where we cover the New York Jets. Jets, Jets. They deserve that. They won as they beat your what do you call the Falcons, brother? The inconsistent
My consistent inconsistent team.
Yeah, there you go. And the Jets won, man. The Jets showed some fight. Obviously, shout out to those fans that were in the building. Because it was just not a good weather game. Obviously, there wasn't that many. There was a guy who actually no pants. Did you see that? Yeah, sickos. But the Jets did win. And, brother, this is where I want to bring up the conversation because obviously the Jets won. It is what it is. It's like, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to break down the game. The Jets won. They did what they had to do. You win the games. They're professionals. But the biggest question I think that was hovering around the Jets after they won was, what are we doing? You have some fans that are, hey, why are we winning games now? We should try to position ourselves, you know what I mean, in the draft. But then you have some that go, no, we need to win this game. This is a new coach. We need to change the philosophies here that losing is just not acceptable. Win when you can. So I want to pose this to you, brother. Take your Patriots hat off, not literally, but take it off figuratively. And matter of fact, your boys was in these shoes last year. Are you more towards the side of tanking, or do you feel like no, get the wins, build the foundation, do that sort of thing?
If you're asking my opinion, right, and this is
Yeah.
with me, just the way I look at the game, the Jets should be losing these games. Get the better position. Get the better position with the draft coming up, right? You want to tank and get the best position the best available pick that you can have going into the season. We've seen that where picks sometimes can be ruined because of these meaningless wins at this point. But viewing it as, let's say if we're a player. A player doesn't care about and I cursed again. Sorry, I'll beat that up. My bad. I'm on a roll today. But the players don't care about tanking or who's coming up in the draft.
No,
They care.
that's
They
one thing.
want to get
The
up.
players are not. They're professionals. They're good. They want to win.
They
Yeah,
want
they
to
don't
win. They want
care.
to play. They
Right.
don't care about
As
anything
they
that's going
should.
on.
As they should.
And most coaches, because we've seen history of
Coaches
stuff
too.
meddling.
I think it depends on the coach. I think it depends on the coach.
Right. Some coaches are just like, you know what, we're gonna get by, and some coaches are like, no, we're gonna to damn with all the draft position, we're gonna try to win this game because these guys bust their butt all week training this week.
Right.
They want to get a win, and we're gonna get that win to hell with the draft. So it's the problem with that question or the whole thought process is more so the fans and how what's instant gratification. You're gonna be mad if you lost the game. You're gonna be mad if you win the game. You're gonna be mad if you have your draft isn't as good as it should have been, or at least the where you draft that would have been better had you not won. It's a loaded question, but it depends on whose perspective you're viewing it as. I'm asking you, as someone who's not a Jets fan, but who's trying to root for them. What do you think?
Well, I think you got to factor in a few things, right? Um, Jets need a quarterback, and from what you looking at, these people, and I'm not going to pretend to know anything about college football because I don't. Maybe we should bring in Jeremy for that sort of thing. Um, but you hear that there's a crop of quarterbacks that are going to be in this draft. I also look at teams that the teams in front of you who needs or whatever. Like, so if you think there's 4 or 5 good quarterbacks, if there's no real deal like unanimous number one pick, I think it depends on the situation. Right now, Aaron Glenn is a first year head coach. So you know what? The Jets have been losing for so many years. It's like, no, we're gonna set a winning coach, and this is how you do it. We're gonna fight for these games. This is what we're gonna do. And if we hurt our draft stock in the process, I don't care because you know what? We're not going to accept being losers. So I say it like this. I think right now with the Jets being 3-9, they're drafting 7th. What's the major drop off from 1 to 7? I don't think there's much. And then you have a team like the Giants that are second. The Giants might trade down because the Giants may not need one of those quarterbacks. So I think when it comes to, I think if let's say if this was Robert Saleh, it's like, bro, just tank. You're done. You're getting him out. Blah blah blah. But I think with Aaron Glenn, I think you want to set a tone and a culture. So I think it's best fit for them to win at this because I don't even think. All right, they lose. It's going 2-10. Where does that put them? 6, the 5th. They only move up 2 spots. So, and then with the Jets, man, they've been through so much. They might as well win something. I guess you know what I mean.
But
I'm gonna be
the other
honest,
thing,
brother. I want to win games for the Giants. I want to win games. Like I want to win these games. I could care less about if the Giants draft 2nd or 5th or whatever. I want to win. So personally, I would think Jet fans would probably want to win too.
and I see that point. The thing is that also there's this mentality that just because you have the number one overall pick, you're gonna hit. That's a success. Number one, that's box
Right.
office.
That's too. Yeah.
And you're gonna get that's it. Your franchise is set. Look at the last draft that came out with good or at least stacked with quarterbacks. That draft with Caleb Williams had Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and then Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy, and Bo Nix went, I believe, last out of those two. Oh, those guys. And can't out of that first round. That's who I see. Xavier Worthy was in that draft, and he was 28th. Brother, it's not a guarantee to get to hit on your first overall pick in the draft. Sometimes the guy that available probably fits your scheme better than the guy who probably was
Yeah.
there. So it's just a matter of where you decide to land. Bo Nix happened to land with somebody who knows how to run an offense. As much as we don't like him, Sean Payton, he does know how to run an offense. And he's finding ways to maneuver him. Could he have done the same with maybe a Michael Penix or maybe a Caleb Williams? We don't know. But the fact is that you're not always going to hit on that pick. So maybe the draft positioning doesn't matter as much, or at least that's my viewpoint. Like, it doesn't matter sometimes.
Nah, it's always going to depend on where you draft, right? Because you can hit on, you can go on number one, and then it just doesn't pan out that way. So,
Not
hundred
everybody's Peyton
percent,
Manning.
not everybody's paying Manning. When you look at the whole Trevor Lawrence kind of thing, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is what Jacksonville thought they were getting. But brother, we got some wrestling to talk about because one, obviously, our preview show, and we thank you guys again, was one of our biggest viewed shows in a while. But before we get to that, brother, we got some news on baseball because it was announced, I believe it was Monday night, that Devin Williams, former Yankees closer setup man, has agreed to a 3-year, $50 million deal with the New York Mets. Brother, what's your thoughts?
To the left, to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left.
Oh man.
Brother,
All right.
get him out of here. You know what? Sometimes players can resurge in another team and they can be, great. Look at Aroldis Chapman. That's a guy that we looked at and was just like,
Right.
guy, get
Right.
this guy out of our locker room, and the Red Sox just happen to rejuvenate him.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens. Sonny Gray is another example of another player who
Well,
just goes somewhere else.
Sonny Gray's making news. He's making news in New York, all right. Sonny Gray's
So
making news.
So go ahead, Devin Williams. Maybe that works for you over there in Queens. Maybe, the cachapas at 2 a.m. will rejuvenate you. But whatever.
Look, at the end of the day, I feel two ways about this. It's gonna be a great signing if the Mets are able to keep Diaz. If they can't keep Diaz and Edwin Diaz, so which I hope I hope this doesn't happen because you're hearing the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Um, if he leaves, then it's a disaster. I'll say this, and I posted this on Twitter, and I posted this on a very popular Mets Twitter page, is that I find very funny now that the Mets are no longer posting the Pete Alonso wild card home run off Devin Williams now that he's their guy. Because when Devin Williams got traded to the Yankees, that was the first thing that every Met fan was posting. How Pete Alonso broke Devin Williams and all this trolling. And now you have Met pages posting up Devin Williams highlights when he was in Milwaukee. And that is very strategic because he can't post most Yankee ones. I'll give him some credit that he did seem a lot more comfortable towards the end of the year and started pitching better. And that's because he wasn't in the closer's role. Boone actually started putting him in non-stressful. I don't care about all this analytical and you can blur me out, I'm sorry. All this analytical stuff about, oh, they was talking about his luck. That's, like no, I seen it with my eyes. The guy blown 8 or 9 games. And that was the difference why the Yankees are not winning, didn't win the division. Let's just put it at that. So Met fans, it's just so funny. It's almost like politics, brother. Like when things are going wrong, when when your particular person is not in office, you complain about it. But once your person is in office and the things are still going, you defend it or you act like it doesn't exist. And that's what Met fans are doing right now with Devin Williams. But there's a thing called receipts, and you can go back to these people who talk crap about Devin Williams now trying to reverse it. But let's see how it goes. Like I said, at the end of the day, I think it's a good signing if they're able to keep Edwin Diaz. If not, good luck. But brother, we gotta talk about Survivor Series. So let's talk some wrestling.
Give me a hell yeah. What? What?
All right, y'all. This is Let's Talk Wrestling, and we got, first of all, let's just highlight right now, brother, before we even get to Survivor Series. Congratulations to TNA. They just signed a new TV deal with AMC. As someone who's watched TNA from the very beginning, and it's safe to say that Dave and I are wrestling fans. We're not WWE fans. We're not AEW fans. We're not TNA fans. We are professional wrestling fans, and we're going to highlight that. So congratulations to TNA Wrestling. They will be premiering on, I think, January 18th, Thursday from 9 to 11 on AMC. Shout outs to TNA. Now let's get into the Survivor Series, brother. There's a lot of hype about this. Man, we had a great show. Shout out to Jeremy. Shout out to Nick for being on the show. Brother, Survivor Series, in a nutshell, was doo-doo. If you listen to everybody on Twitter, I'll be honest, shout outs to you, and maybe shout outs to Stephanie McMahon. I caught the show halfway through because I was having issues with my alternative broadcasting. And there's these 3 letters that helped me out in the process, and that is VPN. And that helped me out, which I was able to watch the pay-per-view on Netflix. So that's pretty cool. But brother, this show did not get a lot of great reviews. Obviously, a lot of people did not like What do you want? Where do you want to start? Let's just talk about that because there's a lot to unpack. Where do you want to start on this show? Because this show, I think it got very little good. I think there's certain little spots that people raved about, but for the most part, people did not like this show, brother.
All right, brother. Let's start with this. Let's start with the very beginning, right? The women's War Games match. 2 weeks prior, we had blood and guts on AEW, and this is not a show to be a part to be
No,
comparison,
but I was
but we
gonna
have
mention
to.
that you beat me
We,
to it.
we have to. This is a match that, oh my God, this is where I love to see women's matches when it comes to AEW because those women are willing to go all out. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's too much blood for people who've been watching women wrestling in bra and panties and mud matches. Fine, that's maybe too much for you guys. But for the most part, people who are actually wrestling fans, we love blood and guts because there was actually good spots in this. The spot with EO jumping off the sky, covering herself in a
Done
trash can,
before
waiting for
80
people
times.
so they could get catch, so Becky can just watch them. It's you. There's a spot that I also saw. They're smushing Becky's face, and she's just
Yeah,
like,
I want you to post that if
it,
you could, brother. It's the video.
yeah.
It's they show the
I won't do the
difference.
video because WWE is gonna flag us. So I'll post a picture.
The image. Oh yeah, you're right. Them haters. But
Yeah.
yeah, I saw it on Twitter that they put a side by side. I think it's Sky Blue, and then it's Becky, and they took. It's just like yo, that's AEW and WWE in a nutshell. Like
And And it's just like, if you're gonna do this match, right? If you're gonna go and do a War Games match, then give me a War Games match. Give me something that's actually worth saying that this was this is why it was highlighted. This is why it's your title in your pay per view or your live event. Show me that, but you didn't. You could have just gone regular Survivor Series style, 5-on-5, elimination style. If
yeah,
this is what you were gonna give us,
and it's funny because one, we predicted exactly how the card was going to lay out. So shout out to us. Secondly, it's funny now. I've listened to a few podcasts, um, some bigger wrestling podcasts. I don't know, man. I think they might be listening to our show, brother, because now, and I think those are a lot of them that have guys that have worked with WWE. So now they're trying to toe the line of calling it whack, but not doing it because they don't want to get in trouble. And Kaz, I don't. That's how he is. That's what he is known on Twitter. He's actually with Carmelo and him. He has a wrestling podcast, and he suggested that finding a way to better Survivor Series would be maybe having one traditional match, one war games, one like brand supremacy. And I'm like, that sounds a lot familiar of what we said. And I think you're absolutely right. I think one yesterday proved you don't need two war game. Survivor Series proved you don't need two war games matches. That's already it. You're right. Obviously, and I was gonna get to it later on, but you're absolutely right. And I think what messed up this show at the same time was AEW having blood and guts. What, a week or two before it? So it's still fresh in everybody's minds. It's different if Blood and Guts was during the summer. But the fact that Blood and Guts was what, a week before, 2 weeks
in the same month,
before,
at least in the same
in the
month.
same month, and people, it's still vivid in people's memory, I think that messed them up too. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be honest, this Survivor Series, and we talked about it on our last show, this seemed very gimmick. Where War Games always felt like the story. The story needed to conclude it in War Games. Where you had the Bloodline versus Solo Sokoa and all that, the original uh tribal chief and all that. You felt like that needed to end in War Games. That's where it needed to culminate it. This felt very much like the Hell in a Cell pay-per-views, where it's just like you're throwing a match on the Hell in a Cell because it's the gimmick pay-per-view. And that's what this War Games felt like for the first time since it's been brought up in the main roster. Um, the women's match was that. You know what I mean? Like it didn't showcase the biggest stars either because where's Tiffany? Where's Jade? You know what I mean? So it's like the story didn't care what Becky like. No one cared. I'm gonna be honest. Like it was like the EO joint now just seemed more as what we said, something that was organic, and now WWE, you can't fabricate what's organic. I'm sorry, you just can't. And they have a problem in doing that. And we're gonna talk about that in the men's because they did that again in the men's. Something that was very organic and felt dope. And in WWE does WWE, oh, it's cool. Let's fuck oh, sorry guys, let's beat it to the ground again. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. But let's get to the Cena match. The Cena match was next. Like I said, guys, I really didn't catch Survivor Series. I have to rewatch it, but I guess we can skip and just talk about the end. And that's the return of Liv Morgan, which was great. Liv Morgan came back. Everybody kind of thought, she slaps Dom, and the swerve comes in. After she jumps on John Cena, the hug, whatever, she low blows him. Shout outs to Wells because I never thought about it until he said it. The referee refused to make the pin when Roxanne and who's Roxanne's partner, brother? Well,
Raquel.
Raquel and Roxanne came in, beat up John Cena with Dom was pretending to be hurt on the floor. All of a sudden he comes up, pops up after they finish their business with Cena, and the ref didn't want to count it. But then the same exact thing happens at the end. Same exact thing. And then he makes the count. So it's like now there's no consistency of what's going on. And although I got the finish that I wanted a dirty sleazeball finish. The match didn't do anything. Like, I don't know. It's just this Cena run, this Cena final it's not. I don't think it's doing what people thought it would when it was first announced.
I think the problem with Cena's run, I'm going to talk about that right now. The problem with Cena's run is that there's also expectations, right? Because it's announced, because we all know that it's coming, and we already know the final date of what's happening. I think everything is definitely under a microscope. It's going to be looked at, and fans are going to have expectations. They're going to have dream matches. They're going to have what they think should be the final run. Who should be his final opponent? And it's nobody in this tournament. I can tell you that. That's not who anybody wants, or who at least left. That's I think that's the other part of the problem. I'm not saying that they did horrible booking because they did absolutely a crap job at booking John Cena in this final year and the way that things were done. The heel turn was cool at the moment, but then it became what? The losing of the championship to lose it back to Cody and that it became what? It just was handled like really poorly. And I personally feel like his last match should not be in DC. It should be in Boston. They should,
Should have
if
been
you
in
want to honor
Boston.
him, you want to honor the guy? Honor him in his hometown. No, you guys did that so that you can make a quick buck in Washington D.C. It's bad booking. Yes, expectations are high, and what you expect from John Cena, the greatest of all time, we can both agree to that. And I think you say it more than me. I'm coming around to it because at the end of the day, the guy has put in the work to deserve that title. It just has been poorly managed. When it comes to the finish, I am tired of this era of WWE. There is no surprises. There is
No.
none. There is none because Liv Morgan came back, and I didn't think she'd be back so early. But guess what they
Yeah.
did in that week? They released a trailer of Women's WrestleMania, and guess who was in the trailer? Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan, of course.
So when her music pops, you're just like, well, yeah, she's back, I guess. And it's just like, yeah, it's surprising in the moment, but it's just like you gave nothing. Like you don't want to hide anything. You don't wait for the matches to start. The event could be here, and we're like, we have a surprise opponent, and guess what? It gets revealed at 3 p.m. on a Friday. It's
Yep.
like, why? Like, what
Yep.
is it? Like, I get it. It's hard to hide things in this day and age, and fans are everywhere, and they're taking pictures, and everybody wants to be the first to tweet it. But you guys have been able to hide things when you needed to. But this current era of wrestling, especially with WWE, I want to say particularly, they just don't want to hide nothing, and I hate it.
Yeah, I think they don't care, and I wrote this in the script, and it's like, do you feel like people's getting their bang for their buck? Because we talked about ticket sales, we talked about, obviously coming from watching the network at 10.99 Peacock and now having to pay, $30 to watch it on ESPN Plus, and then you're given 4 matches, and then you're not given 4 good matches. You know what I mean? Like Blood and Guts had 3 matches, and all 3 were really good, and it was on free TV. And and then so that's where like it definitely segues to the next match. because Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella was nothing. And I fought that, and I still stand by. I think Nikki Bella was a good name to whatever, but the match did nothing. The girls looked like they had no chemistry at all. It wasn't a good match, and it was just there. Like obviously the spot was set up for failure. It's after Cena before the men's War Games match. It just wasn't there. The crowd was dead. The crowd wasn't even that pumped anyway to begin with. So I'm starting to think whether I've never heard of San Diego being a good wrestling town anyway, but it just wasn't there. And then you get to the. Do you want to say anything about that, or do you want to just skip over to
I
the
just want to
men's?
say something, and it is the chasing of viral stuff, the chasing of the most. This is the most thing, right? Would you ever see those top fives, and they always have to find something that happened now, and that's the best thing that ever happened. It could be the
Mm-hmm.
most. It could be a hardcore match, and they'll forget about the matches with McFoley and Raven, but they'll
Yeah.
put the match that happened with Jey Uso this week. Like I hate that, right? Stephanie Vaquer had a spot with Nikki where she did the devil's kiss on the table, and they said that was the most extreme spot she's done the devil's kiss on.
Right.
I'm sorry, I recall the same year she did that to Rhea Ripley on a ladder.
On a ladder, yes.
This is the things
Right.
that I'm talking about. Like WWE, this era, it annoys me, and I blame everybody. I blame Michael Cole. I blame all the people in the back and the way that they call stuff. Like, stop chasing this. Like, this is the most. Stop it, please. Like, we will
Yeah.
accept it. Fans are not dumb. We will know what we see.
Nah. Right. And no, they do it all the time. They literally do it all the time. But let's get to the men's War Games. Didn't care for it, to be honest. Didn't care for it, and I pinned something. When we were talking about the EO thing, I pinned something that I said something that was cool, something that felt organic that WWE did, and it kind of backfired on them because you're looking at it now on Twitter. A lot of people are using that particular moment and go, "Wow, you did this at War Games," and that's basically Jey Uso running back his, you know what I mean, his song, and he got everybody eating. Look, I'll admit it, I did it at the crib. I love you, but it's just like, bro, that match, it's supposed to be War Games. The match is named War Games. I don't think there's anything kiddish and anything to play with when I think of, you know what I mean? And you're doing that, and I just like, you know what I mean? And it did. At the end of the day, I didn't like the way this match was set up anyway. I felt that this was just a glorified house show. Get your biggest heels versus your biggest baby faces. What sucked to me is the most is that you didn't get much of Brock Lesnar. You didn't get much of Roman because once those were the last guys out for their respective teams, and they came out and the match was pretty much over like 4 or 5 minutes once Reigns was in the match. You know what I mean? It didn't lead to anything. And then yeah, you get the mysterious guy that I wrote on the chat that I think it was Austin Theory, just from his body structure. Now I don't know if they'll continue to go with Austin Theory. I just think maybe he was possibly just a stand-in. And I would say that's the one good thing that I'll give them is that could end up leading to being Jericho. You know what I mean? If they push it going on and whatever. But the thing is that this was not a good show. This was not a good show. Uh, WWE taxed an arm and a leg for it. They got their crowd. They got their 46 or whatever it was, 43,000 people. And it's another show that didn't deliver. And it's been more than a handful of them now that they've done this year that didn't deliver.
And brother, I want to point out something right there. It didn't deliver, right? It didn't deliver for us. It didn't deliver for the
Yeah.
fans who have to watch this at home. Some of us have to pay the $30 at this. Some of us are lucky to have a VPN. And thank you, Stephanie McMahon, for bringing that up and watching it on Netflix because I was in Mexico apparently. Or no, I was in the United Kingdom. I was in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, same.
But for the fans who were there, I'm sure they loved it. For the fans who were there, like it's great, it's exciting. You see it live. You like it's a different feeling when you're at a live event compared to watching it on TV. I like watching baseball games in person than I do watching on TV. It's different. But brother, like the price point that you're putting to charge at the gate, what you're to get in there, what you're charging fans to watch at home, because let's face it, not everybody's so tech savvy that they know how to switch to a VPN to then turn it on their Apple TV or whatever they're using to go and watch Netflix from another country. It's too much, and it's too much to watch this already. And then when you give us, it's not even worth the price that we're getting. It's annoying. You start you remove the shark cages, so now we already like by the point
Yeah.
with
Now
the
it's like
second or
Royal
third person,
Rumble. Now it's like, and
yeah,
you said it on the chat, and there's a
yeah.
good point. Yeah.
By the second or third person who came out, you already knew the order was going to be. It feels like the Royal Rumble, except this one is more generated, where you can have
Yeah, you
anybody come.
know who's coming. Yeah.
You at this point we already knew the order, and it was just like, well, this sucks. Then you have Brock. The only thing that made fun for me is the meme worthy of when they were running it back with Jey Uso, was when Brock music's hit, and then you
Yeah.
see like the reactions from
The
everybody, and I saw the
seriousness.
meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, the meme was like, oh, when you're throwing a house party and your parents come home or something like that. Like that was funny to me. But Brock comes out, he does what Brock does, and I'm always going to be a Brock Lesnar wrestling fan. But then Roman comes out, 5 Superman punches, and then we get inside the ring, and then like it's just annoying at this point, because it's just like, what was this? We didn't need this. It was a waste of time. It really was. It really was a waste of time. This could have been in a regular match, and as far as a cage match, this could have been any other stipulation, and it didn't matter because it was still going to be the same result. The War Games cage meant nothing. Nobody dove off the top of their
Meant
thing.
nothing. Meant
Like,
nothing. And you look at the men's, and the men's was just, of the blood and guts, night and day. And you talked about with the fans, and one thing I noticed with the VPN, brother, is that the fans overseas have it a lot more. It's a lot more convenient for them to access WWE than us. Netflix has their PLEs, has Raw, and has SmackDown. Here in the States, you gotta have Netflix for Raw, you gotta have cable to access USA to watch SmackDown, and then you have to have ESPN Plus to access the PLEs. And that's just the greed, and then you continue to treat your fans like crap. Did you see the Paul Heyman viral clip, brother, of
no.
him shoving a kid?
Oh
Yeah, I'm gonna
yes,
send.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. I saw
and
that.
it's like, bro, like people want to defend that, and okay, I get it. There's personal space and there's things like that. This is a kid, bro. This is a kid, and he's just shoving like that. I don't care about staying in character. There's security there. Obviously, security to do their part because the kid got close. But bro, the way he shoved that kid, come on, bro. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Like if I'm that kid's dad, bro.
it's
If I'm
very
that
much a
kid's
heel
dad, I'm
move.
I'm swinging
Yeah,
on Heyman. I'm not. I'm
yeah.
swinging on him.
It's very much a heel move, and you would hope that WWE does the right thing. Now, granted, the problem with that is that when somebody does the right thing after that, right? Like you were in the wrong, you do the right thing, it gets somebody else to be like, well, that's what they're doing. I could go approach somebody and I could get free comp tickets or
I get
something,
it. It
whatever.
shouldn't happen.
So
It shouldn't
I don't know.
happen. Like security clearly didn't do their
Yeah,
job, but I don't think that's how you handle it, even at a heel. Like, bro,
I
he
agree.
shoved the kid like
I'm
if
not
it was
arguing that.
if it was an
I'm not
adult,
arguing
it's a
that.
whole
It's
different
just,
story. I'll be honest. If it's an
yeah.
adult, it's a whole different conversation.
If it's an
But
adult
I
wrong,
felt,
just spear him.
yeah, but I felt like with a kid is whack. Um, but I'll say this: I don't think the fans are getting their money's worth as of right now. And then when you have
Right.
the COO Triple H, we run it back. And when you have the COO talking about the next day, oh, it's gonna be an epic Monday Night Raw, and it was a snooze fest. This is where we have problems because now in the YouTube world that would be called clickbaiting, my friend. And this is not the first time Triple H has done that, where it's going to be an epic show and nothing. It ends up being the opposite. It takes away from it actually being a good show because it could have been a good show, but the fact that you highlighted before that it was going to be epic and it wasn't, now it just took everything away from the show. Because I'm gonna be
You know,
honest, we had Gunther versus LA Knight. I mean versus Solo Sikoa, and that was a decent match. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't care now who faces Cena, whether it's LA Knight or Gunther, because I just feel like it's gonna do nothing for neither one of them.
and it doesn't need to happen this exact format. So don't. If anybody's watching and anybody's a wrestling fan, please do not take this as my word that this is the way it needs to be. But brother, and we bring this up because we are fans of all wrestling. Do you remember when Danny Bryan came back right after Adam Cole. How much of an epic show that was? That is an
Mm-hmm.
epic show, and it wasn't.
Yep.
It wasn't teased that much. Everybody had rumors, but it wasn't teased that much. Tony Khan
Right.
didn't go say everybody needs to watch this show. That is how something is done. And guess what? That was one of the best times of wrestling. That was one of the best times of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That run within the next 2 weeks, because I think CM Punk had also come back as well, like within that time. Like, that is what called epic. Survivor Series, when Punk came back at the end and nobody thought it was actually possible.
Right. That's what
That
you
is
call
epic.
epic. Yeah.
You can't.
You can't. And this is where I said there's no like accountability, because people got on Tony Khan when Tony would do that. Oh, I got a big announcement, and the announcement is very mid,
Right.
and people can't
You have to
say
treat it
that.
the same. You have to do the
Yeah,
same.
you gotta start grading them the same. It's starting to happen. It's slowly starting to happen where that honeymoon phase between fans and Triple H booking and how he's handling the show is starting to come back. But brother, we talked enough about wrestling. We got some picks to make, and that's safe to say. I think I'm like the New York Giants. I think I'm out, but I'm still gonna make picks. We still got 4 more weeks to go, so let's get into it, guys. This is NFL Picks of the Week. All right, y'all. This is NFL Picks of the Week. Brother, Thursday, we got a good matchup. We got the Dallas Cowboys heading to Detroit. Amon-Ra got hurt last week, man, and I don't know if he's going to play in this game. Dallas is hot. Dallas' defense is actually playing well. I'm going to go with Dallas in this game.
I'm going to go with Detroit, but it's going to be a close game.
All right. Yeah, this one. I think this one's going to be an easy one. You got Seattle at Atlanta. Safe to say Seattle will be winning this game.
Yeah, we're going with Seattle. The consistent, inconsistent Atlanta Falcons will
There
definitely
we
let me down
go.
if I
Right.
pick
The
them. So Seattle.
consistently inconsistent. This is going to be a good one. You got Cincinnati, you got Buffalo. Cincinnati turned some heads. Joe Burrow comes back. They instantly just became the Bengals of old, beating Baltimore. Bills came back against the Steelers. This is a tough one, man. The Bills is a 5.5-point favorite. I'm going with Cincinnati. I'm going with Joe Burrow.
And I don't blame you with that. So, did you know Cincinnati is still in the hunt?
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
They're
they
still in
are.
the hunt,
Well,
and they're
they
still.
can thank Buffalo for it beating Pittsburgh. So
Yeah. So I think and actually the Ravens now have the number one spot in that division. So in this matchup, I got Buffalo, but I don't blame you with going Cincinnati.
yeah. Then we got Tennessee versus Cleveland. I'm going Cleveland. I think Cleveland, good defense. I'm going Cleveland. They can't protect Cam Ward. I wouldn't be surprised if Garrett was. Oh my God. The defensive end,
Miles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. Because I know it's Garrett. I'm like Myles Garrett. I wouldn't be surprised he breaks the record in this game.
Yeah, I think it is. I feel sorry for Cam Ward. Go Cleveland,
Yeah,
and hopefully Shador gets its next one.
I would pretend sick. Then we have Washington, Minnesota. Minnesota's horrendous, bro. Horrendous. Um, I'm going Washington. I'll go Washington.
Because of how bad Minnesota is, I'm going Washington as well. The last game that they just played, they saw why they should have kept Sam Darnold. Just
Yep.
gotta say.
Oh yeah, for real. And then we have Miami and the Jets. Shout out to my boy Vic. Miami's in the hunt. They are in the hunt. I got Miami. They're playing some good ball recently. Jets won, but I'll take Miami in this one.
I got Miami as well.
And we got New Orleans, Tampa Bay. Easy one. Tampa, easy one.
Yeah, Tampa. New Orleans is not in it. They got other concerns to worry about.
Yeah, they sure do. You watching this Knicks game? They're like hitting threes. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Need to get some stops. Knicks are down 72-80, y'all, for those that are I don't know. That's where we're at in this point when we're recording while the Knicks are playing. This was gonna be a good one though, brother. We got Indianapolis versus Jacksonville. Um Indianapolis they've taken a few steps back. They lost So is Gardner. I'm going Jacksonville, brother. I'm going to take Jacksonville in this one.
I'm gonna go Indianapolis, but man, the AFC South. Who would have thought they would be this close?
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be. I think that's going to be a very sleeper of a game. Then we have Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Um, Lamar did not look good against Cincinnati, but Rodgers looks a whole lot worse. So I'm going Baltimore on this one.
Um, yeah, I'm going with Baltimore in this one as well.
Yep. And we got Denver Raiders. Denver, easy.
Denver. I'm sorry for the Raider fans.
Yeah. And I think they should have flexed this game. I wouldn't have minded this game being Sunday night, the game we're going to talk about next, and that's the Chicago Bears at Lambeau. Obviously, Chicago, man, they come off a big win against Philadelphia. They're looking good right now. Like, they're looking good. They're sitting at 9-3. Green Bay looked good against Detroit on Thanksgiving. They got a couple days more to rest. Um, man, this is big. This is outside. So I'm gonna go Green Bay because this is in Lambeau. I was gonna say cold weather, but Caleb Williams does play in cold weather. I'm not gonna front, but I just think on the road, I think that the cards are stacked against them on this one. So I'm behind. I have to go with I think, which is more the for sure, and I think that's Green Bay winning this game.
Yeah, I don't blame you on this one. I think the lights are a little too bright in this one for Caleb Williams, but I mean, he's showing his time has come. Just not in this game.
Yeah.
Let's go Green Bay.
Yeah. Let's talk about Rams and Cardinals is the next game. Rams, the Rams was a trap game. Although Carolina has a winning record, they were 6-6 at the time, but that was a trap game for them. 1 p.m. game for a team that has to go out west. They'll get their bearings back against Cardinals. I got the Rams.
It was a bad week in Vegas last week, anyways.
Yeah.
Like all the favorites were just losing. I got Rams in this one though.
Yeah, and then we have Houston versus KC. This might be it, man. We spoke about it a couple weeks ago. Could the Chiefs possibly miss the playoffs? And it's looking more and more like it. Houston, yeah, they could win this game. Like I would pick. I honestly would pick Houston if this game was in Houston. The Chiefs are only 3.5 favorite. I'm going Chiefs though. I'm going Chiefs in this game.
I got Chiefs in this one. There's going to be a really questionable flag in this one.
You calling it now? That's the Sunday night game, guys. By the way,
Oh, yeah.
8:30 game, and then we got the Monday night game, which we have the Eagles and the Chargers. Don't know if Herbert's gonna play. Herbert, I don't know how is he gonna play. He's getting surgery on his hand. Is it his throwing hand? Not sure.
I don't think it's a throwing hand.
Okay, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to compare the two, but Aaron Rodgers, you could tell, looks uncomfortable. Obviously he had the wrist. He had like a brace on his non-throwing hand, and just certain formations he was unable to do certain snaps. So I think that's going to be the same issue with the Chargers. Although the Eagles have not been playing consistent, the Eagles had 2 bad losses back to back. I'm gonna lean more towards Philly on this game.
Yeah, Philly. I got my Super Bowl pick in this one.
Although I like the Chargers, how do you feel about that now? Are you going back after those pretty last 2 performances from Philly?
I'm sticking with my guns on that one.
Sticking with your guns. All right. I'm not mad at it. Oh, Cat, come on, damn it, Towns. All right, y'all, but that was it. But guys, we are getting to the conclusion of this episode, and we're making history. This is a history-making highlight of the week, something we have never done before, probably would never do never again. Should we just kind of hint it before the whole graphic comes up? Let's just say it's from a New York team we've never covered before. Let's get into it, y'all. It's the highlight of the week.
He's on fire!
All right, y'all. highlight of the week is going out to, we said it's a New York team we never mentioned, and that could be anything. That can be for our loyal fans. That could be a handful of New York teams that we haven't talked about. But highlight of the week is going to go to the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, I said it, the Brooklyn Nets. They play basketball in New York, not the Knicks. Yes, the Brooklyn Nets are highlight of the week. Actually, two. They get two plays because they made two phenomenal plays where you don't hear that so often from the Brooklyn Nets. Let's shout out first Noah Clowney, as Noah Clowney just makes a remarkable dunk on Hornets center Ryan Kalkbrenner. I'm assuming that's how you say his name. But Ryan Kalkbrenner will be on the Noah Clowney poster that they will sell nowhere because they're not making posters of Brooklyn Nets players. But shout outs to Noah Clowney. He actually has been kind of balling a little bit for the Brooklyn Nets. So I'll give him that. And then one of the 18 first-round picks the Brooklyn Nets had, we're going to run it back. Mr. Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf posted, and this will have to be my favorite because I really don't care about Miles Bridges, but Danny Wolf, he must have saw White Man Can't Jump and said, you know what? If Billy Hole can do it, I can do it too. Because he right off Miles Bridges for the dunk. Brother, you got the picture of his face because he looked like he was scared when going for the dunk. But honestly, two great posters for the Brooklyn Nets. Actually picked up their first win at the Barclays Center with that win against the Hornets. The Knicks had more wins at the Barclays than the Brooklyn Nets. So shout out to the Brooklyn Nets.
I got nothing to say.
All right, so in that case, guys, we thank you guys for holding out another day. Guys, remember next week we're going to be on Thursdays. So this week and next week, our episodes will be airing Thursdays at 5 p.m., guys. But this is where, to stay tapped in with us, you have to follow us on our social media platforms so you can get everything up to date. We posted the Devin Williams news immediately once we found out. There was a lot of things that we post, obviously daily Knicks scores and all that stuff. So it's important that you follow us on our social media platforms. We are available on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Reddit right now. The Knicks are losing 76-91 as it's 34 seconds going into the fourth quarter, but the Knicks will turn it up. I know they will. But guys, we're going to turn it up next Thursday as we will be bringing a whole new episode of The Fire. Peace and love. Like and subscribe, and we see y'all next week. Peace.
From the bridges to the streets, Uptown Blackout, Season 2, Ozone, NY Heat, no doubt. This is the Ozone, Season 2, New York, forever drills, catch the vibe.